Hi, it's been a few months since I last recorded a clip for our fertility journey, my fertility journey. Not sure exactly what I'm calling it yet. As you guys would have last seen, I shared the news that our last embryo transfer ended up in a chemical pregnancy. That happened 4 months ago now. And it's still really hard for me when I think about it. And for the most part, I try not to relive and think about certain things. I know that what happened had nothing to do with me. It was the embryo at the end of the day. Great, I got pregnant, but sucks that it didn't last. So today I'm filming another clip because we are officially on board for our next frozen embryo transfer. I don't know if you guys can hear Wicked playing in the background. My daughter's outside listening to the soundtrack and pretending to be Alphabet. I don't have too many updates, but I did want to capture this moment. We've been saving and finally reached out to my doctor stating that we're ready for another transfer. And finally get the ball rolling again. It's gonna be so noisy. I need to wrap this up. My camera's gonna die. So basically we signed consent forms a couple days ago, and today I got the call and I finally made payment. So that is a big step, and I feel like every step we take I get very emotional because it's one step closer to this transfer. And God, I hope that this transfer will be it, and that this embryo sticks with me until the end of pregnancy. I just have to wait now to call in about a week, and I'm guessing I'm going to get a calendar. I don't know exactly how it's gonna work next, because last time they told me to call 7 days after I made payment, and I had a case manager calling me the following day with my calendar ready to go. So I feel like everything's been going really quickly, which I'm really happy about. It just blows my mind because I kind of think we will possibly have a transfer next month, and I just really hope and pray that that's what happens. And I just want positivity. I just really want this cycle to work and be successful, and we have a baby at the end of this. I feel like I'm talking really quick, and I'm just trying to like spit out all this update, which isn't much, but my camera's gonna die like I said, and I will come back when I have more updates to share. Thank you guys so much for following me on this journey. If you have or haven't, I don't know, but it's a hard journey to be on. So let's see how this cycle ends up. I'm doing my nighttime skincare routine, and I figured why not give a little bit of an update. I think it's been over a week since I last filmed an update, so a few things has happened. I believe the last thing I had updated you guys on was the fact that I had made payment and I was going to need to call my clinic in about a week to schedule my transfer. So the next day I ended up getting an email letting me know, or basically telling me that whenever I'm ready that I can give them a call and we can get that scheduled. So that's what I did. Eventually, once I got a hold of a case manager, she had asked me if I wanted to do the soonest available appointment for a transfer, or if I wanted my doctor to do a transfer. And at my clinic, I don't remember if I've ever mentioned this before, but they rotate each week on what doctor is going to be doing the transfers. I've never had my doctor do a transfer, and I always wanted him to do one. So she had said if I wanted my doctor, I would just have to wait a few more days from the first available transfer appointment. So that's what I did, and I am so excited that my doctor's gonna be doing this transfer. I don't know why, but I feel like this is such a good thing, and it's finally meant to be. He's gonna do a transfer, and it's gonna work. I sometimes don't like saying this transfer is gonna work, even though in my heart I really truly believe it is. I feel very calm again and at ease with this cycle that hasn't even started yet. I'm normally very anxious and ready to get started, and this time around I'm just really going with the flow, and I feel a lot more patient, and I feel like that's something that I'm rarely patient for. Obviously I want to get the ball rolling so that way transfer can happen and we can find out whether or not we're having a baby. I'm really excited that he's going to be doing the transfer. I really hope that it ends up being a successful transfer. Little embryo is a healthy one and attaches and stays. I am very scared about taking a test at home, finding out that I'm pregnant, and then later on finding out through blood work that the number isn't high, meaning it's not, that it'll just be a chemical pregnancy and the pregnancy is not gonna last. I feel like I have a little bit of PTSD with that. I don't know, like it's still really hard to think about it. I've recently been editing these clips. I had stopped once the last cycle ended, and it's just been so hard rewatching all those clips. It's really sad seeing me go through all those emotions and heartache. How happy I was when I got that positive, because I was so scared to test, and then the next few clips of me sharing that the pregnancy was coming to an end. So I'm really hoping that this time around it doesn't happen, and I am so scared. So scared. I don't know how many times I've mentioned it so far, how scared I am with this transfer. And I'm trying not to be scared because I want to stay hopeful and optimistic and just manifest the best. I know this is gonna work. I know that I'm meant to have one more baby. My daughter needs to become a big sister. I feel it in my heart that our family is not complete. It's just hard when you don't know how your journey is gonna go. And depending on the outcome of this cycle, I have no idea what I would do if it doesn't work. I can't justify continuing to spend thousands of dollars on transfers that isn't a guarantee. It's never been a guarantee. It's always been a gamble, you know, 50-50 chance. But how much more of this can I take physically and mentally? I am really excited. I'm still very excited. I am going to stop. I'm going to take my last birth control pill in a couple more days, and then I'm going to start my tablets and my patch medication. I already got all my medication. I didn't state that. I feel like I'm so scattered. I got my medication. It didn't go through my clinic this time around. It went through a different clinic, but the medication came out to be so much cheaper than I was expecting. So I feel like that's a really good sign. I did blood work. Didn't mention that either. I went in yesterday and I did my blood work and I'm at baseline. So that's when I got the okay to end my birth control in a couple of days, and I'm gonna start my medication. Then I will be going back in about 2 weeks for blood work again and ultrasound. And if all looks good, we get the green light to continue medication and start shots. And then we will have transfer. With our last transfer, I know that I said that the timing would have been wonderful. We would have had a spring baby. I was gonna be due in May. I don't think I've shared that. And I really wanted a spring baby since Lucy's a fall baby, and I always wanted a fall baby, and I got one. If I get pregnant, this pregnancy would be very close to my pregnancy with Lucy, so that will be fun. I had a really good pregnancy with her, especially the timeline went really well, so that would be very exciting. That's all for now. I don't want to keep rambling and then not make sense and then have to cut so much out. So if you guys are still with me in this journey, thank you. And I'm going to continue to update you guys when I have any fun and exciting news. Okay, here for some updates. Yesterday I had baseline appointment to check how thick my lining was, if it looks good and ready for an embryo, and everything looked good. I had my appointment a little earlier than usual because my doctor's not going to be in next week. Basically, I got the okay to start the rest of my medications next week, so I will be starting my shots in less than a week. Crazy that we're back here again. This cycle feels super different than others. I'm usually very anxious. I don't know if I've already mentioned or spoke on this on a previous update clip, but I am normally very anxious, as in I'm so excited and I can't wait for transfer day to come. And this time around, I'm still super excited. I can't wait. However, time is just going by so quickly that I don't even know what to do. Normally, I have nothing else going on but my IVF cycle, so that is literally the main thing on my mind and only thing on my mind. This time around, I have so much going on. We all have so much going on in our lives right now. So I'm constantly having like moments of freakouts, like, oh my gosh, did I forget a certain medication? Did I forget to take a certain medication? Did I forget to change my patch on the right day? It's just so much is going on, and I have so many other things like in my head, and the days just keep passing. We're getting closer and closer to transfer day. Transfer day is just a little over a week away. I really hope to God that this transfer works. I don't know how many more times I'm going to be saying this. I'm just getting very overwhelmed and scared. I am so scared for this transfer. I think this is the most scared I've been with the transfer, just because last time it did work. I got pregnant. It just ended in a chemical pregnancy, and that's still really hard to accept. So I'm trying not to overthink things, and I'm trying not to be negative or have bad thoughts, but I can't help but always think we're due for a fail since I actually got pregnant last time. As I was saying, yeah, just because we did get pregnant with my daughter during our second cycle, and then our third cycle, which was the last one, I did get pregnant as well. Even though it ended, I feel like I'm just due for a fail, and I hate that that's in my mind. Fertility treatments is so tough. Like, you have moments where you're just in your head and you can't help yourself, and I feel like I've been really positive with my last two cycles, and I'm really trying to stay positive with this one, but I think just this last cycle really messed with me. It was a big mind fuck. I'm still really optimistic that we're going to have another baby. We are meant to have 2 babies. We always pictured 2 little girls, but who knows? I do believe that my daughter is meant to be a big sister, and she will be. I'm just so scared. This update wasn't supposed to be like this. It was just supposed to be a quick, short one. I don't have much else to say for right now. I don't know when the next update will be, if it's gonna be during PIO shots or if it's gonna be maybe the clip of our transfer, but we will see. Definitely gonna keep you guys posted. I haven't filmed any updates since transfer. You guys would have seen that clip prior to this one. Today I am 5 days post-transfer. I've been feeling good. I have been cramping off and on. The first couple of days I took it easy, still taking it easy and resting as much as I can. I've been napping and just taking it day by day. I have been feeling really patient with this cycle, and I still continue to do so. Real quick, I want to touch about transfer day. The day just was so wonderful. I was so happy that my doctor was finally able to do a transfer. It was a full circle moment. Honestly, in my clinic we have 2 rooms. Normally one room is transfer room and the other room is surgery room, where they usually do the egg retrievals. I always had all of my transfers done in the transfer room, but this time we had it done in the surgery room, I think because the other room was occupied. And it was just so wild having our 4th embryo transfer in the surgery room, where they collected all of my eggs with my doctor that has been with me through the start of this IVF journey. And I'm just really hoping that since he did this transfer, it's just kind of, like I said, a full circle moment. And with him doing this transfer, I'm hoping that it's kind of like the conclusion of our IVF journey, and we are indeed pregnant, and we don't have to worry about any more future transfers, because we're going to finally have our 2 children and we will be done. Our family will be completed. The embryologist was wonderful. He was very funny, and I'm not going to share too much in details because some things are really sweet for me to just keep to myself, but a lot of little signs that was very positive and made me feel very reassured with this transfer. As I said, I am 5 days post-transfer. I have not tested yet. Typically I transfer on day 8, which is the day before my beta test. And I am scared to test for obvious reasons. I'm always scared and nervous to test. More so this time, just because last time I did get that positive and the line was pretty faint. And if you're not aware, my numbers were really low. My pregnancy ended up ending in a chemical pregnancy, and that was really rough. So I'm really hoping for a better outcome this time around, and I'm feeling very hopeful. As scared as I am to test, I am just really ignoring that and just focusing on the positive. I feel really great. I know that I'm going to test prior to beta. I am just not 100% sure, and that has been one thing this time around that I am not sure about. I was thinking maybe testing day 7 post-transfer, which would be in 2 days from today. For me wanting to test a little bit sooner than the 8 days post-transfer is because with last transfer, I tested, like always, the day before beta, so I can better prepare myself for what the test will say when I do my blood work. And since it ended in a chemical pregnancy, obviously my HCG levels were dropping and not doubling as it should for pregnancy. I felt like I didn't have enough time to really see if this pregnancy was that pregnancy was going to progress or not. So this time around, I do want to test a little bit ahead of time. So let's just say I get a positive one day, I want to test the following day just to see how dark that line is, and so on until beta and blood work. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's talk about symptoms. A lot of symptoms can be caused by the medication that I'm on, obviously. A few that are common, not only by pregnancy, but also because the medication that I'm on could possibly be the nausea, insomnia, breast tenderness. I know that I have my notes. Let me just look at that real quick. I did say that I have been cramping. I did start cramping, I think, 2 days post-transfer, and the cramping has happened off and on the last few days ever since. It feels like period cramp. Sometimes it's so confusing because I'm like, am I getting a period or what? Because it feels very similar to period cramps, but it's all on my lower belly, uterus area. And then yesterday Yesterday, I was feeling like that pinching, pulling feeling on my left side. I know that there's been a few times where I get like a pinching pain on my boobs. I have no clue what that is about. It just, I know, kind of like takes me back, and I'm just like, oh, what's going on? I don't think I've ever really experienced that, but just a symptom I'm currently having, whether it's pregnancy or not. I was really tired the first few days. I don't know if I've been really tired lately or not, but like I said, I do usually take a nap when my daughter takes a nap in the middle of the day, so that usually helps. But I know that the day before yesterday, I did not take a nap, and by the time like 8 o'clock was rolling around, I was exhausted. And when we finally went to bed, I just knocked out. Then last night, I could not fall asleep. Like, I was awake for at least an hour, and that was pretty frustrating. This morning, I woke up and I went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, washed my face, and then my nose started bleeding. And I don't know, is that a symptom or not? Am I just trying to create symptoms? I don't know. Everything is just so confusing. I'm just trying to like diagnose myself at this point. I've been feeling really good. I just wanted to do kind of a update before I take a test and share that clip. I am just pretty sure the next clip you guys are going to see is me taking a test, and really hoping it's not too soon and that we at least get a little bit of a line, and then I can just test from there, and hopefully that line will darken. Fingers crossed. Real quick, a couple of things that I did forget. I don't know if I mentioned that I've been feeling a little nauseous here and there. It just could be some nerves. It could also be medication. And another one has been that I've been feeling bloated. I'm like so confused right now. Okay, I've been feeling kind of bloated and a little nauseous here and there. Could be nothing, could just be the medications, right? And I've also been feeling a little short breath. Only other time I was like that was when I was pregnant with my daughter, and that wasn't until, I don't know, around 16 weeks of pregnancy, more or less. I'm almost 4 weeks pregnant, if I'm pregnant. So I don't know if that's a little too early. I have no other explanation as to why I would be short breath. I don't know how I could have all of a sudden became extremely out of shape within these last few days since transfer. So if that's causing my shortness of breath, I don't know. Again, all these symptoms are just so freaking weird, and at this point I'm just basically trying to diagnose myself. But we will see, okay? We will see. And I know it's gonna be positive, right? Yes.